Hello, my loved ones, and welcome back to the Soulmate Journey Empath. This is going to be our weekly Starseed collective reading. This is for all Starseeds, all soul groups, no specific soul group this week. And the reason why I was guided to do this is because there is a lot of energy that we're navigating collectively. And we're experiencing this differently, each of us in our own day-to-day lives, but the same energy is around us, available to us, and we're all interacting with it at this time. All right. So what I'm going to do is just open up with the messages that I've been getting for my guides to share for this transmission. And then I will go into some specifics on these energies and how we can navigate them using the quantum tarot. And we'll close out getting oracle messages from the Starry Beginnings Oracle. So before I get into the tarot, I think it's really important to say that many of us that are awakened to our origin as a starseed have been feeling a lot of energetic momentum, even if it's not been external in terms of there's a lot of reflection going on. There's a lot of energy that is giving us momentum in terms of making sense of things, in terms of supporting paradigm shifts for us. And this support has happened since we experienced the grand alignment in December, where Saturn and Jupiter were conjunct in the sign of Aquarius, which is all about the collective, which is all about this big picture or this macro level perspective. And each of us is trying to have this very profound experience individually, while circumstances in our external world have provided us the space collectively to really go deep and reflect. I have been making Starseed content for a couple of years now, and the amount of awakenings that have been happening in the last 365 days are just absolutely astonishing. So if you are new to this ascension journey, welcome. It's a beautiful place to be. And what's even more beautiful is that here we are navigating these energies with all of this support as a collective. And again, each of us having our own purpose, each of us carrying our own gifts. But ultimately, we are united as starseeds working in the Earth collective to raise the vibration of the collective consciousness on planet Earth. And that's a beautiful thing. For many of us that identify as a starseed, before we were able to figure out what this was, there are a lot of feelings of isolation and loneliness and not belonging. And it's really powerful to come into this sense of broader community, of global community, of cosmic community during the age of Aquarius, which is all about the collective. We have this opportunity for us all to begin to join our collective together. So it's very, very powerful, because this is a lot of healing when it comes to our sense of self, our sense of individual expression, and also where we fit in. What is our place in the larger world? What is our place in society? What roles do we have in our families and our relationships? a lot of things are being challenged and growing and changing, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I have pre-shuffled the deck, and it's absolutely no surprise to me at this point. The Justice card has come out 3 different times, and I riffle shuffled, I was sorting the cards, I cut them. This is very, very powerful energy for us collectively, being the overall energy at the bottom of the deck here. The Justice card in many tarot decks is number 11, which is all about awakening, which is all about that calling on a soul level. It's also about balancing ourselves. And there's Saturn here. You know, it's been a very powerful planetary transit for the master of karma, the planet Saturn, to go from the very earthy, very ambitious, very materially adept sign of Capricorn and ascend to the more altruistic and community-minded energy of Aquarius, and also to break from tradition and be original, be novel, be unique. It's very, very powerful energy. But with this beautiful awakening process also comes time to examine shadow. There's been a lot of collective reflection, of examination of self, of the world, the way that we perceive the world that we live in. There have been a lot of realizations that things about the way that we've been living need to change. Choices here with the energy of the Lovers. This is number 6. 6 is a number of balance. Again, so with that coming out, you know, with the Justice card, these are both numbers of balancing. And, you know, the energy of the Lovers and Tarot is all about making decisions, divinely guided decisions. You know, so for many of us that have been going through an awakening process or have been working an ascension path for a while, this is an ongoing thing, right? This is a way of being, a way of living. Healing is never done until we're ascended. So this is something that we'll be working on. And the more that we invest and work on it, the more that we're going to find more peace, more joy, and more sense of purpose in our day-to-day life. Part of balancing things out, especially when we're talking about karma, is applying what you've learned and making divinely guided decisions that are going to help you continue to move forward. So let's see what other messages are coming in. I love this. We have the energy of the 3 of Wands. This is fire energy. This is looking to the future. This is optimism. This is inspiration. You know, one of the most astonishing things as I have been experiencing my ascension, as I have committed myself to this and come into an understanding and soul consciousness, is that I used to think, you know, it is so difficult. I don't understand how people can sit there and meditate. Because even if I don't always have something to say aloud, there are always like 4 or 5 things going on at once in my head at any given moment. I don't know, if I'm ADD, ADHD, but I just can't imagine having the peace, the calm where you can get your brain to shut down. Well, interestingly enough, I'm an indigo, so yeah, there's a touch of ADD, ADHD. But more importantly, I kept thinking, well, I've just got to focus. It must be a problem with my focus. And what I learned through trial and error is that truly connecting with mindfulness is not focusing on anything at all except your breathing. And when I started practicing this and closing my eyes and just really focusing on my breath, it was amazing. And it's absolutely amazing how clear our head gets, how in touch we get, how present we get, just by having a nice healthy dose of oxygen. And in that stillness, in that quiet, where there is nothing but a focus on your own breathing, that's when your soul speaks to you. So very, very contradictory to what we're used to doing in our day-to-day lives, right? We're used to go, go, go. We're used to having to apply a lot of effort to be able to get somewhere. And this is a beautiful thing because it's an invitation for you to just be. And this is where that clarity comes in. This is where our guides connect with us. This is where we have a beautiful connection with our higher self or our conscience. And this message drop, let's see what's next. We have the Judgment card. This is number 20. This is about awakening. And you know what's absolutely crazy about this? When I had my spiritual awakening, I used to see some figures like this. And ever since I was small, I thought, wow, like those angels are just beautiful. Like, oh, that's so relaxing. They're these beautiful, light angels. And when I finally had my spiritual awakening, and they stepped forward a couple of steps further, and they weren't angels. They were people with Merkaba spinning, like light people. And so that's kind of interesting. And I think it's worth sharing because there is no blueprint for how you go through an awakening, for how you integrate and be of this world, but not from it at the same time. So connecting with guides is a message that I'm really, really getting from this card at this time. I apologize. My dog is chasing my cat in the background. Let me handle that and I'll be right back with you. All right. So connecting with our guides is so much easier to do when we can make the time in our day, even if it's 5 minutes, to focus on nothing but breathing and see what comes through to us in that stillness. See what knowing comes to you. There's this big expectation, right? When you experience a spiritual awakening that you should suddenly have, all this like clairvoyant visions. You should be able to hear things. You should be, a medium. And you may have those gifts. For everybody, it's different. more often than not, in my experience with my awakening and consistently on my ascension journey, and also in terms of things that my clients have shared with me, the most common gift on this journey is clairsentience, which is just that very instinctive sense of knowing. You can't explain how you know this. You there's no rationalization for it, but you just know with every fiber of your being. And sometimes ideas will just come to you. And well, I don't know where it came from, but that sounds perfect. So just in order to get this guidance, in order to be able to have that kind of connection with your guides, you are challenged to make space for it, to make space for you to ground, to be present, to center, and to connect. And again, this can be as little as 5 minutes a day. So let's see. What do we need to know? Wow, powerful energies here. The moon, shadow work. Shadow work. It's also number 18. 1 and 8 adding to 9 in numerology. 9 a number of personal reflection. You know, there are some moments that are very inspiring, are very blissful, euphoric on this ascension path. And it can be very challenging, especially if you've worked through an initial bout of shadow energy that is really intense. It can be frustrating and dismaying to how shadows come back at you again, because sometimes we tend to think of this as being a linear thing because we're living in a linear experience. But the truth of it is that healing is a cycle. And there's always going to be a balancing of light and shadow. I think the most important thing that I have learned in the couple of years that I have been on this journey is that it's not that we will not experience lower energies, challenges, karma, but from an awakened place, we are in control of how significantly these external things impact us and our well-being, mind, body, and spirit. So our message is King of Pentacles. So there's Saturn energy coming up again. 2 times Saturn, karma, karma, karma. And judgment. Judgment is a little bit about karma as well. So, you know, there's a lot of divinely guided decisions that are available to us in the collective right now. There's energy to support that. And, you know, I was getting into the discussion at the beginning about the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction that happened in December of 2020. And this transition from Saturn in Capricorn to Saturn in Aquarius. But, you know, there's shadows in purging. Because Capricorn is all about ambition and achievement and success, which is a very personal, sometimes egoic endeavor. And now we're focusing energy to what is best for the bigger picture of my life. What is best for the bigger picture of my family, of my relationships, of my community, of my country, of the world. So there is individual shadow work that we're all going to have to encounter. It's just recognizing that we can always find that peace. So, you know, there's a message coming through to make sure that you're creating that space for yourself to connect. You know, prayer, meditation, Tai Chi, even journaling. Okay, there are so many different ways that we can connect to the divine. But sitting there, eyes closed, focusing on breathing, that's my personal favorite. So we have Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is all about holding back. And for me, holding back, this is in the material world. But with having Saturn come up and us talking about that transit so much, one of the shadows that we are purging collectively is a scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindsets are what motivate the behavior to accumulate and hoard things. There's a fear of internal stability lacking, of needing to hold on to everything. So there may be shadows that we're reluctant to let go of, especially if you feel like many experiences in your life have victimized you in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes the shadow is something that we can cloak ourselves in to get through things. There's always going to be less than love, light, and rainbows that we're going to have to deal with. But the question is, do we hold on to things that we know, ways of thinking, ways of behaving, ways of making decisions? Why hold on to them if we know that there are better ways? And that takes me back to the second energy here of the Lovers. The Lovers in Tarot is all about divinely guided decisions. The choice is ours, whether or not we're going to be willing to engage our shadow self. But having two messages come through about Saturn, which is the Lord of Karma. If we resist and hold back from these lessons, they're just going to cycle back around for us in another way, shape, or form. So we did have this card sticking out here. The Hierophant. Oh, I love where this is going. The Hierophant. Really interesting because the Hierophant represents a couple of things. On the one hand, it represents traditions. It represents institutions. It represents authority of some type. But on the other hand, it represents a higher power. So there's this duality, you know, and that's coming up with all of this Saturn with these balancing energies. There's this duality of which do I go with? Which do I listen to? And that's really interesting because we as human beings are creatures of habit. It's very difficult for us to make shifts and changes. Wow. Okay, these are powerful energies. First, we have the Nine of Wands. This has been a journey. This has been a journey, a lot of lessons. It has required a lot of stamina, a lot of reflection, a lot of persistence. But there's a leveling up that's happening, especially with this energy of the Judgment card. It's literally about ascending. And the Hierophant as well. A higher knowing, a higher wisdom. We have the Star, which is all about healing. And for those of us that are Starseeds, this is accepting the blessings, the wisdom, the healing, and the light activations, the energy from the collectives that we carry the soul imprint of. Regardless of where you're a starseed from, while you're having this experience on the Earth Collective, you're also healing and exchanging energy with the other collectives that you've been incarnated in. So again, there's this duality, just like balancing light and shadow, just like individual versus collective. As you are individually working your healing journey, you are not just healing yourself, you're healing your family, you're healing your community, you're healing our collective by contributing that much more, that higher vibration. And by extension, you're also doing this to the collectives that you're part of, continuing to heal and ascend for your star family. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So a lot of activation. I'm very drawn to all of this electricity, which for me is all about activations. And this is the Mars energy. And you know what's really interesting is I typically would totally associate this with fire energy. But I can't help but notice the electricity, which for me is all about Uranus, which is all about Aquarian energy. And this goes back into this timeline that we're experiencing together, how we are collectively navigating these energies. So let's see what's coming in. What energy shifts are coming in for us as a Starseed collective next? Two of Wands, more decisions. Okay, so this is, again, reflecting divinely guided decisions. Our guides, our divine team, they're always going to be there to help us. But we have to ask them. We have to participate. we don't just sit back and allow, or we're not contributing an equal amount of energy. What do we have here? Wow. This is a phoenix in this deck. I believe they call this card the Eon. It is that unseen ethereal element in this deck. The one-of-a-kind card, the Spirit Essence card, and it's the Phoenix, which is all about death, rebirth, making the decisions, co-creating the path ahead, our path of healing and transformation with our guides. But there's a big message here that in order to keep moving forward, we need to be making the space to have that fluid connection. And what is this? And there's the Fool. This is a journey. But again, there's this big message that keeps coming through. We have to choose to participate. We have to choose to participate. A lot of things are going to shift. But whatever is shifting that falls away from its ashes is new, is fresh, has opportunity. These are absolutely beautiful messages. There's a lot of confirmation here for the growth, for the receptivity that our Starseed collective has been participating in. And then here we have the Page of Cups. Also, the heart activations, the heart healing here. Inner child healing for some. And then a Page of Pentacles. So, you know, making these subtle changes in the day-to-day. Making subtle changes in our emotional body and in our physical body. Having the potential to continue making changes. But there seems to be a lot of crown chakra clutter in our collective at this time. Six of Cups. This is about getting in touch with your soul. And then at bottom of the deck energy, we have the Magician. This is the divine coming through saying, you have all of the tools that you need. Just create the space for yourself to allow this process to unfold, to allow this process to happen. Okay? So, let's get some messages from the Starry Beginnings Oracle to close it out. If you haven't taken the opportunity yet, please do give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to. And please hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload new content. Any information you may be interested in terms of my platforms, my email, how to schedule a personal service, or how to donate to the channel are all included in the description box below. So, what guidance do we have to close out this collective Starseed reading? What guidance do we have? What guidance do we have? What do Starseeds need to know right now? For clarity, guidance, comfort, and healing. Be clear on what you want. Put action to your goals. Make them a reality. Again, they will provide the energies. We have to make the decisions. We have to take action. And you know, this is a message too for those of you that are working with the law of attraction on be clear on what you want. Be clear on what you want if you're trying to set that up to your divine team and say, I would like to bring in, you know, whatever. Be clear on what it is. We don't want to be vague, because if we're vague and we're just going to take what we're given, you know, where's that message? That takes me back to this Four of Pentacles, that scarcity mindset. Settling, taking what we can get, holding on for dear life. Like we don't think that anything else will come along. And then this is so powerful. Miracles happen. Give the universe your clear intention. Be clear on what you want. Give the universe your clear intention. Whew, these are amazing. What else? What other messages do we have to close out this reading? And that's the last one. Let me get that. All right. So you have a sensitive antenna. And it says, sensitive people collect the emotions of others. A lot of third eye chakra here. So there is this huge invitation right now to connect with self. To connect, oh my gosh, the bottom of the deck, spend time on you. Balance yourself. Balance. What was our first message? The Justice card. Libra scales. Balance. Especially if you are the type of person that typically spends a lot of your time and energy working on other people, helping other people, supporting other people. As you awaken, you are more and more sensitive to the energies around you, especially if you have gifts developing. This can be very intense. And the way in which you can do this and not be a total recluse is to spend time connecting to that quiet place in your soul. Spend time connecting to your divine team, to God, Creator, Source, the universe, to your star family. Be clear on how they can help you, because they're right there. And you know, we even saw that with this energy in the Judgment card. I'm just looking for it again really quick here. Here they are. They're like, hello, how can we help you? You woke? And so they're like, just tell us what you need. We can't like gift wrap it and hand it to you on a silver platter. You have to ask and say, may I please? Yeah, that's funny. That was one of my spirit guides. But really, that's how it works. Okay, so make sure, because your intuition is very heightened right now. Make sure that you get that downtime to balance yourself, balance your energies, but be clear on what it is that you want and need from your guides. They are wanting to bring these miracles in. and help co-create and manifest these beautiful things in your life, in the lives of the people you care about, in your community, on our planet. Okay? So, I hope that these messages resonated with you. And as always, I am sending you all so much healing, love, and light. Bye-bye.